Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. Tonight I'm here with the Fabled Trevor from Fable Hobby, who is spearheading Battle Hardened Portland, which is coming our way in just about a week. And we're going to talk to him about the event, why you should be there, and why it's very exciting for not us just in Portland and in the Northwest, but for everyone. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey folks, thank you for tuning in today, and Trevor, man, thank you for joining me here on this Friday night. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's been busy days lately, but
I can't
yeah,
imagine why.
yeah. We got this Battle Hardened coming up, which is pretty exciting. So yeah. But no, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. It was a long week, and but it's Friday night, and it is what it is. So, but I do have to say, I'm very excited about this. It's hard for me in the phase of life where I am with job, career, kid, family, to travel and to have a big event coming to Portland in my backyard. Not literally, but pretty close.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's pretty
yeah.
exciting. So yeah, let's talk for well. First, we go into that. I think a lot of people in the community, at least the online community, probably are aware of you, either firsthand or secondhand. But can you tell us who you are, what you do, and yeah, go from there.
Yeah. I've been a part of the TCG community in one capacity or another for more than half my life. Been associated with a number of TCGs. Spent a long time with Magic, and then then the pandemic came around, and then Flesh and Blood caught my eye, and that was in like May of 2020. I had a friend that was like, "Hey, there's this game. It's coming out," and like, I mean, it had been out for several months then, but he's like, "This is really going to be picking up steam, so you should take a look at it." And picked up a few Blitz decks and took a look at it. Actually, I guess they were the original starter decks then. Picked up a set of the four starters and just was totally enamored by it. And I was like, you know what, this is going to be something. And yeah, then just kind of went all in on Fab, and as you can tell by the name of the company, there's clearly some inspiration there from Flesh and Blood, right? So yes, then we got set up in October of 2020, opened our doors there, and it's been kind of nonstop with Flesh and Blood, ever since, and started doing live events a year in. So I think our first big live event was Tales of Aria pre-release. We'd done some online stuff before then. And then, yeah, just been kind of keeping it up from there. Obviously, there's been a lot of great regional events that have came along the way between Road to Nationals and Pro Quests, and back through Skirmish, Road to Nationals again. So, yeah, just been super excited to be part of the Flesh and Blood community here. We're so fortunate to have a number of content creators here, retailers that embrace the game from the early, from the beginnings, and yeah, just that's kind of my thing, and my history with approaching Flesh and Blood, and this Battle Hardened Portland is kind of the culmination of these last 2 years or so of Flesh and Blood in Portland. So.
Yeah, well, I think you're underselling yourself a little bit. I think that, not I think, the data is there. The proof is there that you're, if not the biggest, you're one of the largest event runners in the Portland area, if not Northwest. I know there's some big stores in Seattle, and I don't want to step on any toes there, right? And that's not the intent, to be clear. But Trevor's done a very good job of running a lot of big events. I don't think there's many events. had several where you've had to rent out spaces. I think the same space maybe that we're playing at, and yeah, so Trevor's underselling himself a little. He's done a lot of work for Flesh and Blood, which is certainly why he's gotten the opportunity to bring this here for us. And before we get into the rest, I have a little bit of a funny story. So I had been doing coverage with Justin down for Battle Hardened LA, and it was about, I don't know, 72 hours or so after I posted the video for Battle Hardened LA that the info came out for, maybe it was more than 72 hours, but you get the point. It was very close thereafter the info came out, and Trevor pinged me. I pinged Trevor. I was like, hey, do you need any help? And he's like, dude, you have no idea how hard it was not to like say something. So that was pretty funny. So yeah, why don't you walk people through what we expect to see here on August 13th, actually starting August 12th.
Yeah. So, yeah, this, I mean, you've kind of covered, I think, a bit of what kind of the Battle Hardened experience was like with Justin before. And yeah, it's so funny with seeing both of your YouTube videos, or actually there might have been more than two, but yeah, seeing multiple videos from you on it, and then like knowing in the back of my mind, like, oh my gosh, like, you know, they're kind of thinking like, oh man, can Portland get one of these? And I'm just like, I'm like, I can't say anything, but it's going to be awesome once the news finally comes out. So,
and we were talking about it on Facebook and Discord and everything too, right? So yeah.
Oh yeah.
You did well, sir. You did well.
Well, so mind you, I received the email from LSS about this opportunity. It was Sunday of the calling in Vegas. So this was like June. It was like June 11th or something like that. It was Sunday in Vegas, and I get it. And mind you, I'm kind of like I'm doing a little bit of Uprising stuff while I'm down there, and networking and stuff. And then I get this, and I'm like, oh my God, and I can't say crap, and it's just like this is going to be such a cool opportunity. So yeah, and so then when I came back from Vegas, then I was talking to the LSS Premier OP team, and they're like, hey, so we really want to do this event. We want to do it soon. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course, I know that they're trying to get a lot of events going, and they're like, yeah, we want to do it in August. And I'm just like, all right, let's make it happen. So yeah, here we are already that this event is coming up next weekend. And yeah, we've got 3 days of Flesh and Blood. It kicks off Friday night with the Super Armory. So that'll be happening at the store, and that'll be kind of a nice warm-up event for the Battle Hardened. So Classic Constructed, 3-round event. Everyone that goes 3-0 is going to get a cold foil Armory cold foil prize. There's going to be prizes for everyone. It's going to be a great way to welcome people who are coming from out of town, as well as the locals that'll be here and around already, and then be just kind of the I don't know, the appetizer to the weekend. And then we move from that into Saturday's Battle Hardened main event. So one of the fun things when designing the event with LSS is they actually gave me the option of format selection, Classic Constructed, Blitz, or Sealed. And for me, it was like a no-brainer, because I just know, like, with the community here, CC just seems to like reign supreme. I mean, we've got definitely some folks who enjoy Blitz, and folks that like to draft and play Sealed. A lot of that happens closer to the release for the limited formats, but CC, especially just because it's the format for Road to Nationals events, and for Pro Quests, and for Pro Tour and things like that. So it's just kind of like, all right, let's do CC. And so we've got that event happening on Saturday. Full schedule of side events that we'll be doing throughout the day. That's been kind of a fun thing for me. So when we first got our first Road to Nationals event last year, and we rented out a hotel space for it, I was like, sure, well, if we're going to do this and we're going to aim big, like, let's have some other events for people to play throughout the day. So we've added a number of fun events to the schedule. So whether or not you even want to play in the Battle Hardened main event, although I hope you do, there'll be a lot of other events you can play throughout the weekend, whether it's Blitz, Booster Draft, Commoner, Ultimate Pit Fight, whatever it may be. We're going to try and have an event for you on the schedule. And then that takes us, through Saturday. The Battle Hardened itself is a 1-day event, so the main event will happen in the morning. We'll go through, be some number of Swiss rounds depending on the attendance, and then we'll have a cut to the top 8. And then from there, we'll ultimately crown a winner who will get a PTI, and
awesome.
second place will even get a PTI as well. One thing I want to call out, a lot of people don't realize this, but a PTI can take you directly to the World Championships, which is like a big deal. So you can, finish in the top 2 of this event, get your PTI, and you can go straight to San Jose and play in Worlds later this year. So really want to call that out because I think it's a huge opportunity. You can literally bypass the Pro Tour with this and go straight to Worlds. And then Sunday we've got a skirmish event and a bunch of side events throughout the day. Like a full slate of flesh and blood. We've got I think this is going to be a great rallying call for the community to come together, see each other, hang out. I'll also have another member of the community there vending. So we'll have Flesh and Blood unseals there. So Ian, he's been doing a lot of vending, so definitely bring cards to buy, sell, trade. He'll be there. And between a lot of games in the Flesh and Blood, trading with your friends, I think it's just going to be an awesome weekend to get out and play Flesh and Blood. So.
All right, great. Well, that was a great rundown of the schedule. Let's go ahead and hit on pricing here real quick. We'll go through the CC event just because, it's info people may want to have.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's a lot of a lot of big prizes up for grabs. So, I kind of hit on some of that, but I guess
wrong slide. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that just shows the tournament breakdown. But yeah, so as you can see here, some big, cash prizes out there for top finishers. The PTIs for the top 2. We've got a sealed random legendary gold foil that it's going to go to the winner, which is going to be awesome. I'm excited and curious for what they're going to pull. And then the top 8 also get really cool exclusive sort of Battle Hardened playmats. We're in the Cintauri Saber season, so I don't know if these I don't know if these have been given out yet or not. They might have been given out in LA already, but
I did see someone. I saw someone on the Facebooks sporting one. I think it was from like Asia, though. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's somewhere.
Yeah, or it could have been from Utrecht last weekend, right? So
that's possible. Yeah,
or maybe that was 2 weekends ago. I don't know, but yeah, I know there was one event in Europe before this, and then we've got Singapore right after the Portland Battle Hardened. So but we're in the Centauri Saber top 8 playmat season, which is awesome. And then on top of that, we've added some additional booster prizes for finishers beyond the top 8. So I think that's just a lot of cool loot up for grabs, and just a chance to be part of, I think, a historic event for the Northwest. So you can say, oh yeah, I was here, because undoubtedly, hopefully this is just the beginning, and maybe we'll get a calling in the future too. So to be able to say, and I kind of told that to players that came to our very first Pro Quest too, which was just like, this is kind of a historic thing. Somebody from this event is going to qualify and play in the first Pro Tour, and like, this is a big deal. And same thing for this Battle Hardened. 2 people are going to get PTIs, and if they choose to, they're going to get to go and play in the first World Championships. And I think that's it's a pretty historic thing, especially if you want to be a player that can say that, hey, I was at the first Battle Hardened in Portland, and I also got to go to the first World Championships. I mean, just seems so awesome to me. So yeah.
No, it is awesome. And from someone who's lived his whole life in Portland playing games, it's important to highlight. Right, Seattle usually gets in the Northwest. Seattle usually gets larger events. It makes sense; they have a larger population and all that. And we usually drive up there, and they're driving down and I expect to
Right.
see some of the BC crowd here. This is very, very,
Hmm.
very exciting, and I'm very excited for the weekend. So,
Yeah,
all right, so
totally.
now let me we'll go off the Battle Hardened a little bit, and I'm very excited. I mean, we put the effort in to talk to Justin from Battle Hardened LA,
Hmm.
and these Battle Hardened events are being run by independent contributors, contractors, whatever you want to call it, for lack of a better term, like
Right.
yourself.
Right.
And I personally think this is a very big deal for the community in
Hmm.
terms of opening up larger scale events not being run by one single entity. That said, I've been, choose my words carefully here, I've been a little surprised at how much it seems, from my personal perception, that the community at large does not seem to get why this might be a thing. So you can you can disagree with that too, and maybe I said it the wrong way. Fair enough, but hopefully you and the crowd understand what I'm saying. Is I think this is a very big deal, having these independent events. And why do you think, Trevor, the community at large is not marching in the streets about? Well, marching in the streets is generally a bad thing, but you know what I mean, right? Why are they not celebrating in the streets over this? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool for them to introduce more organizers to be part of their organized play system. I think it introduces, kind of wider innovation, and it allows others to kind of put their thoughts into these events. It allows the events to kind of also be maybe a little bit more representative of the communities in which the event supports. So obviously we're very in touch with the Portland community, and we want to have an event that really celebrates the community here. So yeah, I think there's that part to it. I think it's good to have others that can contribute and innovate. I mean, this is definitely just the start, because right after LA, Portland, and then so so here we are, but then they've already announced, I think, Denver and Minneapolis, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come
I think
where
there's
they
a
can.
Toronto, right? I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
Toronto. Toronto might have already happened, I think, but
Oh, fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, no. I mean, there's a slew of them coming. Um, I think also the Battle Hardened event series is still trying to maybe figure itself out a little bit, in terms of like what kind of event it is to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because in one sense, the Battle Hardened could just be this one day, singular tournament. That's actually how it is. It's kind of offered as either a singular thing, or you can package it, with these other things. And so, because this event is happening in skirmish season, we get to do a skirmish with it. And we get a super armory. They have some events happening later in the year that aren't in like a skirmish or a pro tour, or yeah, in a pro quest season. So they've added like these PTI tournaments or whatever, for the Sunday, to allow them to do a multi-day thing, which I think is cool. I think that actually adds probably a little bit more gravity than a skirmish. But yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. Is we're gonna kind of go through this evolutionary phase where the Battle Hardened series will, um, as different organizers get a chance to do it, we have some more time. You know, different TOs try different things. Some TOs might try a prize wall, or some might invite other special guests, or some might do more side events, or there's honestly there's a lot of room from a creative side, to do, I think, something cool and build it around the Battle Harden. Um, I mean, in my case, lead time was a little bit short, so I mostly, kind of focused on what I, was comfortable putting together and doing, a lot of events, and just, having something that I could, confidently execute and everything. But I think over time we're going to see some of these TOs try and do some different things. And yeah, I think it's good. I think the hard part is, where does this event program kind of sit in everything? So, the calling feels like this event that, people will flock to. Obviously, nationals or worlds people know. It's not, I don't know if it's necessarily clear from like, from a, a travel and like kind of a draw perspective, what the weight of a battle hardened is supposed to be, like
Mm,
what kind of gravity is it supposed to
mm,
have? And I think honestly the community is still trying to figure that out. Um, so yeah, I mean I think there's a lot that we still have to figure out with these. But I mean I think it's great overall for them to be bringing in more TOs for us to be able to kind of try and innovate with these. I mean, um, even if it's not me, I hope there's another battle hardened that comes to the Northwest after this. If it's me, I would love to do it. If it gets to be one of my other friends that's a game store owner in the area, awesome. And we can keep doing it again. Or if it goes to, Seattle is probably going to be due first before we get a second one. But yeah, I mean, I hope we can kind of just see this sort of like evolutionary process, and these events can take shape and they can build the gravity for a lot of folks to want to travel in. Um, we also have some other challenges with travel and
mm.
summer expenses and other things that are probably going to hamper people's decisions, on when and where they choose to, spend their time and money to go places. But yeah, I know I kind of went on a little tangent there, but I feel really good about this opportunity and about the community getting these events, this program. I think it's a nice space to be in, like above a ProQuest, below a calling. It's just got to kind of find its place, I think, more than anything else. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective in terms of, you know, I'd drive to it, but I wouldn't fly to it. Maybe because maybe that is where
yeah,
this is currently landed. I think that's a pretty, maybe that is the issue, or not issue. I mean, it's not a problem to be clear, but I think that's a
no,
good
but yeah,
perspective, right? I drive 5 hours, I drive 6 hours to go play, but I'm not going to buy a $500 plane ticket. Maybe that is where the battle
yeah.
hardens into. It's like a regional level event. That's an interesting point.
Yeah, and if you're driving 5, 6 hours, then you have the carpool aspect as well,
Mm-hmm.
which we've seen countless times. The crews that come down from Seattle or Vancouver, um, BC to come, to Portland to play, or the folks that come up from, Corvallis and Springfield and Eugene that come to Portland. So, Portland's really good from a carpool perspective. Within 3, 4, 5 hours, we can pull from a lot of areas. We've even had people, come from Idaho
Mm-hmm.
or California, Utah. Um, Not a ton, but some. And so, yeah, I think that's like, yeah, I think that's probably. I think you're kind of drawing the distinction though, the sort of carpool versus fly to, especially when you only have, with some of these events, you only have so many weeks to plan, and so and in this
Yeah.
environment, flying is not flying in that whole industry. It's got I think it's got a long ways to go before it kind of gets back to pre-pandemic, like levels of like operation, just from an operational perspective, let alone the demand. But yeah. So some people just don't want to be out in that environment too, which
Mm-hmm.
is totally understandable. So
Yeah. Well, who wants
yeah,
to buy a ticket? I bet. Whatever. We won't go into the whole, economics problem right now. But uh,
yeah,
that is an interesting. That's an interesting point you bring up also about the time, and that's something that I hope. I mean, you had just less than 2 months, if my math serves, to get this wrangled together.
yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, hopefully that problem will resolve itself over time as LSS is able, as the world continues to open up and LSS is able to get more of a schedule together. I'm optimistic and confident that that will resolve itself because I agree. I think that at a minimum you need 12 weeks at least to plan a flight, and it's probably more than
oh
that
yeah,
these days, right? So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
you
I
bring
mean,
up a good point there too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even from a production perspective, so prior to uh, prior to the pandemic, I did a lot of large events, and so I was in the events industry before the pandemic, and kind of the sweet spot for kind of opening production on an event is usually that 3 to 4 month range. That 100-day mark was always kind of like the target in which we would really kind of like open the book on the event, depending on the level of sophistication and stuff like that. Like that's a very comfortable time to be doing to have your event published and taking registration, and then you can be doing a lot of the back of house work behind the scenes, and yeah, it's definitely that's the more comfortable runway, I would say, is 3 to 4 months. But in this case, we're doing our event in a hotel ballroom, and it's just down the road from the store, and we're taking, I think, away some of the extra work, like than we might do if we were asked to plan a calling. We would definitely want more time for that, right? Especially if we're going to be in a convention space and things like that. But in this case, fortunately, I was able to send an RFP out to the hotels in the area. That's a request for proposal where hotels tell us their availability and rates and all that sort of stuff. And so we're fortunate to get that information back quickly and come up with a potential solution, present that to LSS, get them to sign off on it, and go from there. So yeah, I think and I think that timeline, I think the community has kind of raised that concern already. Everyone wants more time to plan. I think that part doesn't need any more attention. I know that there were folks talking about U.S. nationals and the timeline for that and stuff. So it's like, I think everyone's trying to figure it out, and the events industry is recovering, and everyone wants more lead time, but at the same time, you want to be agile and be able to maneuver around things, especially when you have a lot of people traveling in. So like, I get it. I kind of get both sides of it, I guess, is my thing. Like, I get some of the frustration, and I get the organization and the planning side of it. It's kind of a tough place to be in. So
yeah, and that's why I say I'm pretty confident it'll work itself out in the future. I just hope that in the 100%. Meantime that the indicators aren't, if it's harder for people to travel and people want more time, then you're going to get lower numbers. And then I hope that those lower numbers aren't held as this program, quote unquote, is a failure.
Yeah.
That's the break point, right? So.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sure. I mean, I think we're going to have an awesome event, but, I was definitely listening to, when I was thinking about, my capacity for the max capacity for the tournament and things like that, and I was hearing what Justin
220, right?
Yeah, 220, which is plenty huge. But I was kind of basing that on what I was hearing from LA and what their thoughts were, and looking at some of the other things. I mean, part of it is the data set for these events is like super limited. Before LA, it was mostly just the SCG cons. That had these in the U.S. at least, other than the ones that were on the Sunday of a calling. But those aren't really fair, numbers. So there was the ones that were at the Sundays of SCG cons, and I kind of heard this range of like, I think it was like 80 to like 150 was kind of where a lot of them were kind of falling, but these would be kind of the first sort of like standalone ones. And so I was like, and my max capacity was also just based on the size of the room. We're not going to come anywhere close to that, but when we consider side events and wanting to have ample space and for people to play in the Battle Hardened main event, jump into a Blitz or booster draft event, we'll have plenty of space to accommodate all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think organizers are going to progressively learn from other organizers. Like I was talking to one of the folks that's helping out the Colorado team for their Battle Hardened, and they were kind of trying to data mine a little bit to see like, okay, so what do you think? How did LA do? And that sort of thing. And so I think these events are going to get progressively more fine-tuned, and people will be able to kind of manage expectations maybe a little bit better from both a budgeting side, an event production side, a projection, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I think we'll see where they end up. But at the end of the day, it's like I think it's going to be an awesome opportunity for the players that get to be a part of this, and the fans, and the judges. I mean, there's that was the amazing thing for me actually, was the outpouring support from all the judges that reached out to me wanting to be part of the event. I mean, I had a surplus of people wanting to help out, and it's kind of a shame I didn't have the resources and didn't have the event that could meet the needs of as many staff members that wanted to be a part of this. So this is a little shout out to all of you that reached out wanting to be a part of this. It's just thanks for your interest. Thanks for supporting Flesh and Blood. Keep being part of the judge community. I think it's awesome that you're pouring in a lot of your time to be part of this. I had to take care of everyone that was kind of local here first. They definitely earned this opportunity. So we've got a very local staff, but for everyone that reached out, I'm sure that there will be more opportunities available to you in the future. And just thanks so much for your interest, because I was just blown away. Like the judge community in Flesh and Blood is so strong, and I think it's a bright future ahead for folks there. So and I think LSS is doing a great job to take care of the judges too. It's incredible, the promotional items, and then obviously they get the financial remedy from the TO itself, but then all the extra like loot that they're getting from LSS is just awesome. So
at the higher events, I want to clarify that at the competitive level events. Yes.
True. Yeah,
at the local level events, I think there's a gap there, but that's a different conversation. So
sure. Yeah. It's a harder one to wrangle, I think, for like your weekly tournament or whatever. But yeah, for anything that has like a kit or whatever that has the judge support. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I'll just say this, and we'll kind of cap it and get out of here. But I bought my ticket a couple days ago. I don't remember exactly when. I hit the click button. I'm gonna be there, and I'll try to do well so that I don't have to buy a whole bunch more tickets over the course of the weekend. But we will see how it goes. Oh, and then last question for you: are you doing any streaming or stuff? Do you have a plan?
Yeah. So actually, great question. So we managed to put something together. So I wasn't sure how I was going to approach this at first. Because doing the stream and everything's it has a price tag associated, but fortunately I've got a technical producer coming in, and I've got some commentary that's actually going to be remote. So we're actually confirmed now. So the Attack Action podcast guys will be doing the commentary remotely for the Battle Hardened main event on Saturday. So
and they're doing it remote. Stoked. So we're talking like tie and a coat, but boxer shorts, right? That's
totally, 100%. Okay. Yeah. So they'll be patched in. I've got so all the technical bits will be here in Portland, and they'll be coming in over, I think, either Discord or Skype. They'll be hooked in with the on the technical side, and so they're going to be doing commentary remote. That'll be streamed. For Saturday's Battle Hardened main event. So, so appreciative of the Attack Action podcast guys, offering this to us and this opportunity. So I'm excited to be working with them, and then I've got Jordan, my technical producer, that'll be doing all the heavy lifting locally to make the stream happen. So. We're kind of excited to see how that all works out, but so that's going to be fun. And then there'll be a lot of like text and picture coverage that'll go on the LSS site like after the event. That's like the recap article, and you'll be able to see, kind of some metrics about the event and metagame analysis and things like that. But for those of you that want to tune in, you'll be able to kind of follow along on Saturday next week. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to hopefully being on camera in a lower round game and having them tell me everything I can do wrong on the internet for everyone to see. So, no, that's
yeah.
all good. No, anyway, I'm very, very excited. This is a big deal, not just because it's close to me and stuff, but this is a big deal for the local community. And thank you for, I'm sure, busting your rear over the last several weeks to make this happen. So thank you, congratulations, and man, it's 1 week away.
I know, awesome. 1 week away. Let's do it.
All right. So remember, if you are in the Portland area, or even if you're in the Portland area, the Northwest area, or even if you're not,
come visit us.
Come play, man. Come play. So we will see you in 1 week near Washington Square, which means nothing to you, but it's near the Hilton.
And, it is the Embassy Suites, off of Highway 217 across from the Washington Square Mall. It'll be Saturday, August 13th and 14th. We'll see you there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, and you got to say it with me, man. Go Commando.
Go Commando.